Well, there have been several very rich ideas, and by the way, they're not rich in the sense of being very expensive. So we've talked about teacher training, and can we bring the tools of well-being into normal teacher training for all the teachers in South Australia? Similarly, for mental health, traditionally we teach social workers and psychologists about the 350 kinds of ways of being crazy. But there are quite a few ways of being sane, and they're teachable. And so the notion that positive health, positive psychology should become part of the training for our mental health workers. So teachers and mental health workers become two fulcra for the teaching of well-being. And there's one more society-wide thing that could happen. There are parent training programs for well-being, and in fact, we found in quite extensive research that when parents learn the skills of well-being and teachers learn the skills of well-being, and they both teach it to children, that the children do better. So there's very good evidence that teaching the skills of positive psychology to teachers works, and it works in a very special way, and in many ways the Army tells us this. So we've now trained 8,000 drill sergeants in well-being and how to teach well-being, and what we find, the drill sergeants are very critical, and they sort of sit there on the first day, and what is this stuff they're going to try to shove down my throat, girly, touchy-feely psychobabble, and by the end of the first day, they're fully engaged, and by the end of the 9th day, 70% of them volunteer to come back to become trainer of trainers. When we teach teachers, we find the same effect. This is the best course I've had in teacher education, but most importantly, it rejuvenates teachers. And I don't know what the mechanism of good teaching really is, but I think it involves zest, liveliness, and rejuvenation on the part of teachers. And that part we're certain of, that the teaching of the techniques of well-being to teachers rejuvenates teachers. I think it reminds teachers why they went into it in the first place. So having been a teacher for 45 years, much of the time I'm thinking about all the things my students aren't doing, all the hassles I'm having with my administrators, but when I focus on the fact that I'm building life-changing things into my students, that's why I went into teaching, and it reminds me of why I became a teacher.